up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 20.1, Drusilawannabe, where we are covering the short story, It's My Birthday Too. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello.
And Jess.
Have you ever wondered why vampires don't play baseball? Because their bats keep flying away.
Ba-dum-bum.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling. Harry Dresden just wants to give his vampire brother, Thomas Raith, a thoughtful birthday present. Harry tracks Thomas down to an underground live-action role-playing vampire party. However, the fun is quickly ruined when a group of bloodthirsty, uninvited party crashers show up.
So this was originally written for an anthology about vampire birthdays, meant to come out on Vlad Dracula's something birthday,
yeah.
which would have been November. It ended up coming out in September. White Knight came out in April 2007. This came out in September 2007. So this was written, immediately after White Knight ended, more or less.
Give or take.
So it's funny to me that he
Mentions slime golems?
Well, exactly, immediately. I'm like, wait a second. So I think that must have been where he got,
Downtown?
Okay, let's talk about that to do Downtown, because Downtown, we know now, was written 6 years later.
Wait,
so,
what am I going to write? Oh, that throwaway line about
exactly. When he's trying
slime
to
golems.
figure out something in the timeline, he's like, well, what short stories do I already have in there? Where can I slot this in? So I'm assuming that's where that came from, but...
No, I see. So
Yeah, I made that note too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you when it was written because of... But,
yes.
yeah. So is this another, or are we then assuming that this is them coming home specifically from that?
I originally thought that, but
endeavor.
They keep saying amateur hour, and Bad Santa was not an amateur.
And yeah, he was. He wasn't like
was to a
that. He had
degree.
a lot of power, but not like...
But doesn't the amateur hour mostly come after the...
Vampires?
Yeah, does he say it about...
Says it twice.
Okay.
He talks about, how annoying it is because of amateurs and how disgusting slime golems are. But then near the end, he also turns back to the amateurs.
Sure. I don't know. I could see, because Bad Santa didn't have a whole freaking, army, and he just had one thing going around squashing people, and then they ended it real fast.
Just a man and his golem.
Just a man and his golem. There was no big empire. There was no contingencies, really. So I could see it being...
And that's where I think the title came from as well. It's My Birthday Too. I think that was in reference to the original anthology it was published in. It was about Vlad's birthday, and then also Thomas's. It's my birthday too.
And potentially, I took it in this scenario to mean because it's Drew Linda's death day, because she's like, 1 year ago, I discovered the truth. So
That's how I took that.
Because she sings the Happy Birthday to Me song. So it's...
I could do that.
My rebirth as a vampire, or it actually was her birthday, and
Or it's
nobody gave a shit.
dozen, maybe, a dozen links to how that all...
Fair
Butcher's
enough.
just like that sometimes.
And then I think this is where you find out that Thomas was born on Valentine's. I think this is the first mention of it. We didn't know before this that it was actually on the 14th of February. Because that's just knowledge I've always had. I'm like, Harry's was Halloween, Thomas's February Valentine's.
And I think I always wondered where you got that information from, but now I know where.
I was trying to remember too, because there was another sort of the first side story, short story, was the little novella about Thomas and that too. And I think I tend to want to associate some of that with that, even though because it was such a Thomas-centric kind of, I don't know.
Story,
but
yeah.
this could be, this, I did not go back and double check, but you're right. This is probably the first time we get, I'm vaguely curious now. I'm like, I have to go figure out when exactly they, but yeah, this is likely.
I've noticed with this particular short story, Harry's gone back to his a little bit more lecherous sort of observations. Not just, watching Molly's legs, but like later on, he's like, there's more than one. I think there was more than one woman that he was like,
Well, there's the two. There's Sarah and Ennui are really the only ones we're introduced to. But yes, both are dressed as skimpy, tight, goth, vampire, young women.
To be fair, if they weren't dressed that way, Harry wouldn't have even noticed them, okay? So it's not that there aren't women who aren't scantily clad, it's just that Harry can't see them, okay?
and I guess Molly is changing, so.
Yes.
With her incredibly long legs.
Which
So long. Taken after her mother.
But at the same time, like in Harry's defense on that, Molly is also, I don't think so subtly, I don't think it's a big secret that Molly might kind of have a thing for Harry. And she could have gone down to, she was covered in gunk and maybe didn't want to track it through the house. But, right, Molly didn't necessarily have to strip down in front of him directly. It was a good excuse. And Molly is going,
Molly.
But in Harry's defense, I think she's trying. She wants him to notice and is trying to be somewhat
while she's doing
provocative. Maybe not as...
Oh, no, I'm so covered in slime, Gollum.
Oh no, how am I ever going to get all this off? I can't even reach my back. Yeah, exactly. But yes, there is definitely... It's again...
It makes sense why he knows what kind of underwear she's wearing.
Well, yeah, he's looking at it.
She just stripped right then and there. I was like, why is he commenting on her underwear? Like, that's just no.
Yeah. But again, it fits and it doesn't after the whole, initial... scare thing, but that Sarah is all of a sudden plastering herself to him, oh, save me, I'm scared. Oh my, yes and no. I don't know. Part of me is like, yeah, but part of me is like, I get it. It does. So I don't know. I always go back to the Buffy, more instance, but the body and that after Joyce dies, and then Anya is all like, let's have a baby, let's just have sex 24/7, and Xander's like, I think you're just trying to, sex is very life affirming, and because this is the first time Anya's really witnessed or cared about death, right?
It was the most brutal episode
It was one of the most.
Shockingly so.
They did.
The fact that they pulled all of the music from it, too.
Silence. Yeah, they just didn't.
Buffy did it first, Game of Thrones.
Buffy did a lot of firsts that have... Yeah, it was exactly. That was one thing he was good at. I'll give him that. They're like, oh, there's such great witty dialogue. And he's like, let's make an episode without dialogue. Welcome Hush. Also one of the creepiest episodes.
One of the scariest.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and let's make... Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But speaking of all that does actually, I have another this to me, the second you start this story, I go immediately to the Buffy episode, Lie to Me, which was season 2, episode 7, I think it was.
Not in the season 2 finale?
Nobody messes up the season 2 finale. Come on.
I just read this really short author blurb I was looking for new, and I sent it to her because it was this queer non-binary.
I will tell you.
Elder millennial who's old enough to remember being traumatized by the season 2 Buffy finale.
Okay. Yeah. Maddox Gray is a queer non-binary elder millennial who still remembers vividly what it was like to be emotionally damaged by the season 2 finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And that's the entire bio, so I
she sent it to me.
Yeah. It's that's hilarious.
Nobody.
That's a telling bio, though.
Nobody.
I don't remember what the season 2 finale was, though.
Oh, for shame.
I should know. I've seen a lot of it.
Yes.
But I just don't remember what happened in that particular season.
She killed Angelus and sent him back to hell.
Okay.
Yeah, season 2 is when Buffy finally has her moment with Angel and turns him evil and spends the whole rest of the season avoiding trying to battle him because it's Angel and I'm sure he doesn't really mean it and I love him.
Right.
And then they finally want to raise it's a rock. It's a big rock. Can't wait to tell my friends. They don't have a rock this big. One of my first best quoted lines from Spike. Yeah, they raised a big demon thingy that's going to swallow the entire world. And so Buffy finally has to have her showdown and finally has to...
Got it. Okay,
Kill.
I remember that. Now that you're saying, I just didn't remember. Because there's lots of different... Yeah.
Anyways, Lie to Me is, yes, these group of adolescent vampire wannabes decide they don't want to grow old, and the one guy masterminds it. It's somebody Buffy used to know from the old neighborhood before she moved, and decide they want to. So unbeknownst to her, that they lead her to this thing and trap her in this warehouse with all these people. And basically, he made a deal with Spike that if he hands over the Slayer, Spike and Drusilla will turn them all into immortal young pretty vampires. And then there's basically just a whole bunch of kids to eat. And Buffy is like, you fucking moron. You don't know what you've done. It's not fucking romantic like you think. And they're just going to eat all of you. And
Got it.
It's either like chanterelle or something like the mushroom, or like chartreuse, like the
Chanterelle.
Chanterelle. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was the mushroom thing. But that's her vampire name. I'm Chanterelle. I'm Ennui. I'm Revenescence, whatever. But
So a little nod to, or inspired by.
I feel like perhaps
Probably a nod to.
No, given his
How he used to advertise on the Buffy.
Buffy
boards.
exactly. His love of the Buffy that kind of sparked some of the exactly. Harry's done scraping off melted goo for
So clever! How he throws it in the fire.
I was like, not the code. It's like, it's okay, protect it.
I knew it was spelled, but I just forgot about how practical that would be for cleaning.
Moments
This
like
is
this.
his version of dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Yay!
And also because the dry cleaner won't let him back.
Which is funny because, specifically, he knows he can't try taking it to the... But yes, I did love... Although I have to feel like, is this not almost like marshmallow sticks? Like, because he's like, I'll just bake it and I'll chisel it off. I'm like, Harry, just keep it in there. And can't you just, eventually, just bake it off completely? I feel like having to go after and chisel it, there's a lot more work coming. So I feel like you just fucking leave it in there. Although, and maybe at this point, because he doesn't have it with him. Presumably, they left it in the fire to drop Molly off. I'm like, it might bake that. Wouldn't it all just eventually ash and crumble like you do with your marshmallow sticks?
Probably.
You just fucking cook it until that stuff just fucking dissolves off of there.
How long it's taking right now?
Exactly right. They got an extra hour. I'm like,
Yeah, you got time.
come on, Harry, if it's going to survive, just leave it in there to do the entire job.
I'd imagine he didn't mean to have it in that long.
Okay, Molly is actually so invasive, and I think that she started this conversation specifically so she could call Harry out on his lies. But asking somebody why they bought a birthday present from one person and not another person is mind your business, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell? He used to be my roommate. He used to live here. Jeez.
I mean, in all fairness, Molly is giving him, you're not fooling anybody, Harry. How long are you going to try and keep up the pretense, right?
Maybe it's a little bit more of
funny.
giving
She's
him
just so funny. She's like, oh, wow, you never bought my dad a gift before.
Yeah, you're best friends with him. He saved your life a whole bunch of times. Yeah, exactly. It is funny, though, and it is. But this is always how Molly's been. 14 years old, in the treehouse, being like, so why don't you guys just, have just restrain and have sex and get out of your system? Molly has never had boundaries like this, which is funny considering the fact, because I can remember those girlish pre-adolescent crushes on, sure, some older figure in your life who you think is so super cool. At the same time, though, I'm like, I don't think I ever could have been that forward and that bold, right? It would have been so humiliating, so embarrassing to. So I kind of love that dichotomy in Molly, that she was always just whatever, what the fuck, yeah, let me talk. That was her way of.
We've never fallen for older men that we thought were cool.
Okay.
In fact, I've never met a man I did think was cool, first of all.
So, okay, let's say there's the, mitigating circumstances in both of those cases.
Mitigating circumstances in both of those cases.
I also did not specify man. I said someone older and cooler that we look up to.
All right, touche.
Because, I am sorry your dad was a loser and that it scarred you against all men for life. I apologize.
And
that's
every
just
subsequent man that's existed in the world since. But yes, you can't blame it all on him. I didn't even know him the first several years.
Which, again, may have had something to do with that. Just saying. But yes, I understand where most people... Anyways, fine. Jessica apparently has never had a crush on anybody in her life. She just... Anyways, moving off this about to become awkward conversation. Let me not continue this train of
Slam
thought.
dunk.
But anyways, yes, I just find it funny because, again, often as you see in real life and depicted in media, and that is that exactly when somebody is the object of a crush, they are all like, oh, you. And, you know, they just don't want to do anything. Where Molly's just like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care, I'm just bleh. But the other thing, too, is how she has specifically mentioned...
I think it helps she's been rejected already. So she's like, fuck it, I'll say whatever I want now. I don't even have to impress you anymore.
Now, but also, like I said, this kind of was always a thing for her, right? She was like, let me pull out my handcuff keys for you, Harry, and let's talk about your sex life.
I don't think that was, even quite it yet. I think Molly is just a little bit of that, like...
She is a little bit. And that's the other thing that I find is funny, like, where it does come into play a bit more, her being, like, her mother's daughter and stuff like that. Because, again, Molly has you know, she's learned a lot of this from her mom, too. I'm like, having the big family, having the parents she does, even Charity, like, yeah, they're this big, good Catholic family, but they are also very real people. They, other than Michael's literal, but in general, the family is not holier than that. They're flawed, they make mistakes. Charity fucking wants to know what's up with her kids. She's not above a little snooping. She's not above a little interrogation. She's not, right? Molly has learned how to weasel out information and things, too, between just having a bunch of siblings. That's the normal course of, you get into each other's business and someone's getting in trouble. What are they getting? You listen in and you learn and you... So I just find this whole thing is out of whack, but also I'm like, I get this. I think this fits very much. And exactly, Molly is just like, so how far do you want to keep playing this? I'm just going to keep asking, these very innocuous yet pointed questions and see how far you want to backpedal and scramble before you realize I know and you're not as clever as you think you are.
Okay, I see where your point is about being like your mother, like that way.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
What?
Where are you going with it?
She's a little bit too morally... like...
And Molly's more morally gray. Yeah, Charity does have a stricter code.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell me the truth by hinting.
I already know the answer. Are you going to lie to me or are you going to tell me the truth? And that is basically how it's going to play out, whatever my reaction and response to this.
I do like it, though. I've seen you guys fight. I have siblings.
Yeah, you ain't fooling nobody. Yeah. I love, too, that the animals completely dissed them. Mouse is all like your home. Nope.
This stinks. Gotta go.
Okay, so I get it. You want to go deliver his birthday present. Fine, whatever. Molly wanted to ride anyways. Fine, drive her over there. And obviously there wouldn't be a short story if he didn't try so hard, but it is a little bit funny to me. He gets there and he's like, if I don't deliver this today, like, this is all for nothing. Like, I gotta find him. I gotta track him down now. Like, it's kind of funny to me. He's just like, it's like not even life or death. It's not like you're looking for Thomas because, like, there's a case. It's literally just like, I gotta give him this gift. Where could he possibly be?
Okay, you know what? It's like his first birthday, although it can't even be because it's been a couple of years since he's discovered.
And they live together, but yeah, sure.
Right. So, again, that is also slightly funny that you're right. It's not like this is the first birthday. So.
And clearly not good enough to even make dinner plans or anything like that, right? Like,
right. Either he didn't know, he just kept it to himself.
Hang on, I just found this major flaw.
What Molly's point is like, so you're probably not very good at giving presents, and he just didn't know what to get, how to get.
Is part of it, but seeing as this was such a big deal, that you're right, because it was
decision paralysis, because there was just too much pressure on getting him something.
It may be, because it's literally been like 3 years now or whatever since and that was Blood Rights was like spring, summer. Like, I remember it being warm weather and stuff like that or whatever, right? So we would have had to come back around to, so exactly like Thomas was living with him when that, and again, maybe, but it's not like it's going to be hard for Harry to figure out. Again, he's living with him. Look at his fucking driver's license.
But I'm like, anything, like, without it being anything, particularly like Thomas trying not to let him find out. Exactly. I'd just be like, hey, Laura. Hey, Justine. Hey, Thomas. What's the fucking birthday? Like, I don't think it'd be that much of a secret, especially when you figured out you were brothers. You'd just be like, when's your birthday? When's yours? Like, I don't know.
Well, and especially since Thomas, again, likes being
Mom gave birth to me in February and was gone by April. I don't know.
It was 5 years. Come on. But yeah, exactly, right? It's not like Thomas is going to be one of these. Like, there's somebody in our family who she doesn't like to. I don't know what her she's part of the extended family now, obviously.
That's true.
And she just, for whatever reason, I don't even know fully why, but she doesn't like her birthday. She doesn't like it celebrated. We know what month it's in, and that's it. Yeah. So, okay, she doesn't like to, right? Thomas is not that person. Thomas would absolutely be like, yeah, this is my birthday. Yeah, you want
Probably
to
the
take me to
first time he
dinner?
lived with
Yeah,
Harry, he
you wanna
invited
get-
over like 12 strippers for his birthday.
Yeah, like-
Harry was like, God damn it, dude.
Right? Like, I was going to say, it's not even, I mean, Thomas might have his reasons, but it's not like you would think Thomas would, I don't see it being any particular reason why he would. So, yes, that is funny that now that I didn't stop to think about that angle before, but why all of a sudden now is, but regardless, I guess that's it. I mean, I have a certain amount of that too. I guess if I got you something for your birthday and then got delayed all day fucking fighting some slime thing, I'd be like, I want to get it to you before midnight while it's still your birthday.
Even side comments like this where Molly's all like, oh, he's a White Court vampire, so it's not just me then. I'm like, were you not on White Court property just like a few months ago? Like, why did you think you were there?
I don't know, she just sat in the car and it was very tense and very scary.
But Jim didn't
Still,
review the Bible.
That's what I'm thinking though, is because, I'm like, she literally asked at the end of the book, she's like, tell me what you think I need to know. I think them being White Court vampires would have been on the you need to know part. Not, you're not ready for this. So it just made me laugh when she was like, oh, so it's not just me then. I'm like, how has that part not come up yet? You've been allowed to meet him a million times, but him being a White Court vampire hasn't come up once? So funny. Anyways.
Yeah, what kind of vampire or what that means. I don't know, maybe Molly's just taking the opportunity to, like, obviously it's obvious she knew that, but just, like, oh, it's not just me. Like, sometimes you say obvious things.
Well, you know what, though? Because she stayed in the car.
That's what I meant. That's what I was saying. I was like, she just sat in the car and things were very, very tense and very, very scary for a while. And then everybody came running out. So she wasn't up close and personal with the lamps, getting the whammy put on her in that situation.
But again, poor Thomas. He's like, just bring it tomorrow. And Harry's like, no. But Thomas is still like, okay, if you have to, I guess. Sure, why not? That's fine. It is my birthday after all. Ha ha ha.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's like, yeah, fucker, after 3 years. Because Harry never talks about his birthday much. It's usually something gone. So for all we know, Thomas has gotten him presents for the
Well, I was going to say, we don't know that Thomas has gotten him presents, but we do know Thomas has wished him happy birthday because in Deadbeat, he straight up was like, happy birthday, Harry.
Right, yeah. Here's some magic pills. Happy birthday. I may
Go get beaten up by a fairy now.
I'm not a fairy king, sort of, but yeah.
So again, arriving at the mall, it's more just Molly training time, which I actually do like. Out of these short stories in between, I actually do like the more Molly's focused, centric sort of stories, like where Jim Butcher is like acknowledging, like, yeah, she's there for essentially everything now because that's what she is. She's the apprentice. She's got to learn this shit. She's starting over too, just like Harry, right? So
And we get to see the scope of Harry's knowledge and what he had to learn.
yeah, that too.
That we're not necessarily realizing that this is what he's doing, and that's why he's got the.
But it's also a little bit of that like Schrodinger's thing because it's like this night would have been fine if Harry didn't insist on coming, but because Harry's there, Jim Butcher has to write a story. So
I was going to say it wasn't Harry, but I see from the meta point of yes, yeah, that way. I was like, they didn't come to track down Harry. They were still. I'm like, it would have been less fine because I would have fucking killed everyone. But yes, that is the reason that stuff had to happen.
And it's a good way to have a plot point instead of him just being like, oh, look, that camera's out. It's a more interesting way to say, all right, what do you see? Oh, you missed something. That camera's out too.
Yeah, exactly. For him to start making the notes, be like, I could have just told her. And then I was like, wait, this is. But yeah, I like how it shows the progression of Molly and Harry. And again, like you say, in the main books, things that have been mostly off screen, right? Harry just comes back and is like, oh, I'm better at this because I've had to work on it to train Molly. So now I've been practicing again, or this is why Molly's got, a jump in her knowledge and skills because we've been right. So these little side moments of seeing where those things came into play are kind of fun and how they evolved and stuff like that. I think it does work well without being too, just like exposition and boring of Molly doing, right? But again, he's like, any opportunity to like Yoda the Padawan kind of a thing. And so we're at a mall after hours. Why are all these cars here?
now,
Why are those two people in black hoods?
it's weird that it happened once. It's hilarious that it's happened twice now. How many times will Harry Dresden be tricked by somebody dressed up as a vampire?
Right.
Batch
Just
is
true.
Which one is it? At that hotel.
proven guilty.
Yeah.
She got there, folks.
It's okay. I wasn't saying it because I couldn't remember either.
Same thing happened when he showed up at the hotel. He saw some girl dressed up with vampire teeth and went, yo, what the fuck? Oh, okay.
So, those are fake.
At least
Those are
he
fake.
curbs his
Enthusiasm?
Yeah. He only grabs a gun this time. But he hides it.
It still makes me laugh though, because like jumping forward a little bit when he runs into Thomas, he's like, these people are making fun of a really dangerous, scary thing. I'm like, what do you do every Halloween? You walk around to parents telling them how irresponsible they are?
I think in my notes I was like, chill the fuck out.
Literally, I'm like, this is a brand new concept, even if you've never heard of LARPing or anything like that.
And
I
we
looked
already
it up.
know he does D&D.
I looked it up. We don't get reference to him doing D&D until later.
No, he was playing.
has already done it?
He's already done it.
Okay.
Because he already says he chooses a barbarian.
Lord, what
If
fools
you already
these
know,
I already know.
mortals be.
He
That's
chooses
what I
to
was
be a
wondering, because I was
barbarian.
trying to figure out, because I was like, I know it's a short story and it's day off when he's playing D&D with the gang, but I was like, I guess he doesn't get mentioned before that.
It's
I know this
has been
clearly.
mentioned.
Yeah.
So if Tanzan knows that it's already happened in our
already
timeline.
happened. Yeah, in Summer Night, that's part of when Billy's bitching about him. He's like,
Okay,
you don't
okay.
come over anymore, you don't go out, like you ignore all our invites. So at the end, he goes, and yes, he's like, make me a Thule or whatever,
Okay,
and
perfect.
a barbarian with lots of muscles, and I don't have to think.
Yeah.
And
So that's because that's in
Okay,
my notes
perfect.
too. It's like, why are like chill the fuck out? You
yeah.
already do D&D. Like,
That's what I was thinking, though.
Like
I'm like-
LARPing is the same thing.
I was gonna say it was just given
Vampire the
nerd.
Masquerade is like
Yeah.
Because even when he's joking with Thomas at the end, and or whenever he says it at the beginning, he's like, "Wow, you have some really nerdy hobbies or whatever." And
black.
yeah, and I'm like, it's funny because same thing. Like even if you're not as into, but Harry has always had this nerd culture, right? He's like, we know when he grew up. I grew up that same time. I know my brothers were big into D&D for a while, and that was my first exposure to it. So I'm like,
He's got Star Wars posters on his wall.
you've got Star Wars posters, the books you read, the right? Like, we know you're well. So I'm like, yeah, I guess maybe the LARPing a little bit after your day, like, yeah, it's maybe has come around more when you were a little bit past that. But just given that you do love that culture so much and are still, it is. I agree with you guys. It's very strange that Harry has never ever heard of it. I'm like, even if not specifically, I'm like,
Never heard of it and doesn't like that it's happening.
Renaissance Fair,
Yeah,
anybody?
right?
Like,
Relax.
come on, Harry, you know this exists.
Because when I was reading through that, I was like, is he just like giving him the gears? But it like goes on just a little bit too long.
Yeah, he's straight up. He's like, I can't believe that you would you would participate in these people. And Thomas is literally like, it's for fun, you idiot. Like, relax.
yeah,
And Harry's like,
Harry,
it's not for fun. Vampires are dangerous. And Thomas is like, okay, idiot.
yeah. And I don't know, maybe we just top it off to like a bad day of fighting things. Like,
It's a long, stressful day.
Harry watched that episode of Buffy. He's like, I know how this ends, okay? I know what happens to these fuckheads when they... Ooh, let's be
I don't have anyone to go have life-affirming sex with after, so.
I have to say, too, it's really frustrating, really brilliant, because the more I thought about it, the more I came up with. But it's funny, because the most appealing of the vampires is the White Court. But they're the only ones you can't be turned into. You have to be born, basically. You have to be born. So you have no hope of becoming that at any point. But they are the best. I mean, especially if you're on the sex vampires and not like the fear ones or whatever, right? You get that eternal youth thing happening. You get the strength, and you get these wonderful, awesome looking sex, right? You can be turned into a black court. You're a fucking desiccated corpse. There's
Apparently,
no
it doesn't
black.
take very long either. It's quick.
Well, yeah, apparently, you die and raise really quick, and then you just continue. Your corpse just rots until it is a rotted corpse,
Nasty.
which is interesting in some ways, because already after a year, Drulinda is fairly, yet Mavra is how the fuck old, and she's not just a skeleton. So I'm like, it becomes interesting on just how much it...
Different bloodlines within the.
Well,
Black
I'm
Court,
assuming
like,
it's got to do with
why is she a
eventually, like...
master and her children, like
That was the other thing, that Drulinda's like a master after. I'm like, what
1
the
year,
heck
like,
happened
good for you,
there,
like-
too?
This is, encompassing
Promotions.
the whole short story, right? We'll get into it a little bit later, but like it refers to Drulinda here as being a master vampire, right? And I'm like, in 1 year she became a master. I'm like, I
That's-
guess for the Black Court, if there's not a lot of you, it's easy to go up the ranks.
Yeah.
But the whole point of there not being a lot of you is because you're like so easy to kill, like
And...
the sunlight and the garlic and the
Well,
religious
and
symbols.
that it's not
and-
supposed to turn as fast as part of it. It's hard to
And
propagate the
apparently it's
species.
hard to propagate. So I'm like, I don't get how she just managed to get 3 right away, and she herself has
Or-
managed to live a year easily.
you can propagate them because you're a master, but they're kind of.
Well, and that's the
shitty,
thing.
I
Like,
don't
to me, what makes it is it like given promoted title like Bianca's Margravine thingy, or is it simply like you're gonna if you're able to turn one, that's it.
So in the Anno Dracula series, they call the vampire who turned them is called their father in darkness or mother in darkness.
Their
And
sire,
That,
what
and
the
yeah,
hell.
and that like that gives you like a new vampire bloodline. You get powers associated with bloodlines, right?
Right.
So Dracula's bloodline gets to turn into bats and things like that, but not all vampires can do that. In the series, it's like kind of like a really special vampire trait. Or like if somebody can turn into a bat, you know they came from Dracula. Like they are some way somehow connected to him, right? And there's a lot of other things, super speed or invisibility or like things like that. Like not every vampire can do everything.
Right. So like your typical genes, your blue eyes and your red hair and your recessive and your this. If
and
you've
it
got
makes
that,
this sort of like connection when you turn people. So vampires don't actually want to turn a lot of people because they're like, I want to be connected to every stupid fuckface I walk past in the street. It's almost like a real adoption sort of thing. It's like, I don't need 400 of you losers coming after me for guidance and power and like whatever, right?
Like inheritance and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, that sort of a thing,
it's
right?
Like, who am I going to leave this to is not fucking every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Exactly. So there's like a lot of like new vampires that don't get it yet, run around turning a bunch of people. They kind of dilute their bloodline. So there's a lot of like shitty loser overlapping bullshit ones, but there's some that like get it and they're like, I'm saving, if I do this to anyone, it's gonna be fucking perfect, okay? I'm not just wasting this on anyone, right? So
evolution is a species.
Exactly. So the whole series goes through and it eventually kind of comes down to like these 3 vampires or whatever like that are whatever. And it's reminds me a lot of this where it's
red court, black
like who
court,
the fuck, yeah, like I don't know, Malver just being like, who the fuck is turning these? There's only like 11 of us on the planet at any given time, and you're wasting like 4 slots on morons.
And it's funny that you should mention that because like Dresden's version of vampires always reminded me of the actual LARPing game, the Vampire, the Masquerade,
which I have heard of, but know virtually nothing
I think
about.
12 or 13 different
Vampire
clans.
blades,
yeah.
And it's like the same thing, but this is just 4 of them.
Special,
whereas
whatever.
like the live action role playing has multiples. Whereas
Well, it's funny with this one too because the way they describe like Drew Linda and stuff like that makes me think of another Buffy episode in season 4 when she goes to college. Just again, turn like a bunch of college students and stuff. Like, so I remember the one scene, it just makes me think of her because she's like, does this smile make me look fat or whatever? And the Scotty vampire is just like, no, the fact that you're fat makes you look fat. I was like, wow. But the same thing, like they're like, oh, Drew Linda used to be this kind of maybe a little bit heavy kind of playing kind of whatever. And I'm like, again, it's just this other, basically, yeah, same thing. She just was like, I'm going to be queen bee on campus and just turn like a bunch of drones and, you know, their whole thing is...
Well, okay, so yeah, if you haven't noticed yet, as soon as we all read Drew Linda, we went, Drusilla from Buffy. Immediately, right?
That too. But anyways, to go back, we got sidetracked a little bit, but my point was, so the black vampires are gross, disgusting, desiccating corpses. So again, they're real scary and real powerful. The reds can put on a skin suit and make themselves look gorgeous and beautiful and young, but they're these big goopy bat blood drinking things.
Horrific
otherwise,
monster looking.
Yeah, so it's like on the one hand, he's done kind of a good job of almost, except this story kind of contradicts it in a way, of avoiding that whole Buffy plot point. Yeah, do you really want to be? It's not glamorous really to be a red. So if I had to, if you were giving me the choice, I would probably choose red court over black court simply because vanity and all that, I could see wanting to choose to be able to be young and beautiful and gorgeous and sexy whenever you wanted to be. I'm like, yeah, your other form is hideous and gross, but
there's just so many drawbacks to the black court.
There's just so many drawbacks. Like, other than being like really strong and whatever is exactly, it's like I mean, yeah, like you're not seducing anybody.
But like even versus other vampires, that's the only time it would matter. A red versus a mortal, who cares? Be a red. It's really only a red versus a black court where you'd be like, okay, fine, maybe black court has the advantage here. But I'm just like, in all other ways, it's like, who cares? If you got to be a vampire and you get to choose which one, of course, yeah, who's choosing the black court?
So he did a good job. So my point is, I bet you did a good job that way. Because if Thomas could go around turning people, everyone would want to be freaking white court vampires. That's the sexy, glamorous, non-disgusting version. But he sort of worked a way around that by those ones having to be born and created and not created and made. So I was like, it does give you a good reason that way why you don't see more of that exactly. You don't have as many people running around in the Dresdenverse looking to be turned into monsters because there's not a lot of appeal.
Well, and I get an impression from this short story, at least, that like once they're turned into black court vampires, that they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit at that point. No, once you're turned.
That's just doesn't sound like
But what I mean is that
ultimately, once you turn, the choice never mattered anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's what I mean is that there aren't many people looking to. You don't
have to get consent to do it, but
yeah,
you don't have to worry about a bunch of junkies signing up for it either.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. You don't have, like, in the Buffy episode, right? It was a guy who had, if I remember...
was recruiting.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, again, he was diagnosed with something. So rather than die young, he wanted to live forever young, kind of a thing, right? So he found out about...
Forever young.
Exactly.
I wanna be forever young.
Exactly. Rather than having, right, even Molly's group and stuff like that. Molly wanted to run around and people want to learn to be wizards and do dark magic and stuff, but you don't have a lot of people locking themselves in and trying to hunt down the vampire sex.
I mean, even Harry, day one, calling his godmother and being like, let's make a deal, lady.
You know, but anyways, yes, I just thought that way that...
Okay, so the vampires have acne. Which, you know, rotting flesh, that's a vampire. Acne, not a vampire. Okay.
Right.
They're emotional vampires instead.
True that. No, so many of those.
Okay, so this person who stops Harry and is like, sir, what are you doing here? You really? You saw Harry walk in and was like, yeah, that's a normally dressed man? Oh, yeah, his coat's on fire. Ignore that.
Yeah, he's just wearing his denim jacket.
I was about to say, I'm like, I still feel like the Lone
Canadian
Ranger
tuxedo
would have passed, but never mind, you're right. He is not wearing it.
Just the other funny thing that since you've got this gathering happening, and okay, fine, maybe Harry's a little older than the average demographic here, or
I'm here to shop. What's the problem?
who knows? Maybe Sarah was like, okay, yeah, that's it. Everybody is here, and there's, you know, like, but it's just the way he sort of so aggressively comes at it. I'm like, how do you know he's not part of the group? Like, you could have been like, hey, what are you here for? And when Harry was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck is going on, then be like, get the fuck out. But just to immediately be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, you've got like 50 people roaming around. How do you know he's not part of this?
Well, like, maybe like, where's your ticket? Or
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. But whatever.
He looks suspicious.
Harry, ahaha. Even the way that Thomas talks, though, I'm like, you're lucky you're around Americans, because I think real French people, they would not fall for your tricks, because you just speak the most cliched sentences ever. But of course, ha ha ha.
Got them fooled.
Exactly.
Tabernacle.
Mon Dieu. Oh,
Tabernacle. Yeah, that he's really getting fired then.
that is far more Quebecois, I believe, than
that is Canadian.
Yeah. Tabernacle is a French, Quebecois swear more than based on the tabernacle and the whole Christianity and the.
I have a little bit of a chuckle at myself with the setup for the shoegasm part, because. As I do often with the actual novels, I think when there's like this weird little tidbit of information, I'm like, I'd love to read that short story. And I read that part, I'm like, I wonder if that'll be in another short story. Oh no, it's this short story.
It's a twofer.
It's happening right now.
Explanation
with the
within.
shoegasm. Huh. Can't wait to find out. Oh yes, got there.
Got there, yeah. Just Thomas, can you please play a vampire who's straight? God damn it! I had other plans.
I can try
on my birthday, no less.
Yes, with all these young hots. But at the same time, that is a very classic response. That is their like, oh yeah, heck yeah, whatever. Maybe. So it's
pop culture keeps on rewriting my image of some of the characters, because I've been just recently watching the Interview with the Vampire, and the recent season is as the Vampire Lestat. So it's all about the Vampire Lestat, and it's this.
Like very original Anne Rice.
Yeah. And it's quite, I'm really enjoying it. It's really great.
Yeah.
And the actor is fabulous and has very, very thick French accent in it and is gorgeous. And because of this, when he's got this fake French accent, I'm like, oh no, Thomas is now the Vampire Lestat. So now he's blonde again, or still.
Or
back to blonde.
I will say, yeah, Thomas, you can never.
No, the graphic novel nails Thomas for me. I think the graphic novel does a really good Thomas for me back in
Warcry.
Yes. That for me is a good Thomas.
That was not a bad Thomas, I think. Yes.
Why did he choose his name Ravenius?
Maybe he didn't. Maybe she gave it to him.
Okay.
Because it seems kind of like a
douchey vampire
girly
name.
Yeah, I feel like Thomas could have either, again, he's just playing up the campiness of his role, or more likely I feel like this was the role they gave him. It would be, one of them named herself Ennui, I sounds
That's hilarious.
cool.
Okay,
It
ennui is hilarious.
sounds, but if you actually know what it means,
I would choose ennui. That's hilarious.
What does it mean again? I know this note means something, but I didn't look it up.
don't care.
Yeah, just
ambivalence,
kinda, nah.
boredom. I am dying from ennui. I care about nothing.
Right. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Put your hand on your head if
Time out. If
you're not playing.
If you're
And
out of
step to the
character.
right.
And crossing your arms means...
I am invisible.
Right.
Which I think is a cute way to denote that. Because I totally picture not like the arms crossed, but
like the hand on shoulder, sort of.
like the vampire dead in the coffin, like arms crossed over your right. I mean, it's like Quidditch, right? They had to make human rules so human people could figure umbrella dueling. That is a whole other thing. So with all the steampunk stuff that came out, in a lot of these steampunk novels, your umbrellas were like a fucking sonic screwdriver. Right? They were Swiss Army. They could do all this kind of stuff, but in real life they couldn't. So umbrella doing became more like a rock, paper, scissors, but with your umbrella. So yeah, you kind of go 1, 2, 3, and if you pop your umbrella up and the other person leaves it down, it's like paper versus scissors or whatever, right? If you twirl it upside down and the other guy pops it, it's basically they just had to assign things like that. So I think it's kind of cute that they've got...
And your fights end up being like rock, paper, scissors style too for like the LARPing, I think.
Probably that because, they're not necessarily wailing on it. So I
forget, because I was supposed to do it once and we only
Quick,
got past
call up your cousins and ask them all the rules.
We made a character sheet, but never actually, once we got finished that, we never came back to it again.
No, we didn't.
We never actually played.
My niece and nephew were quite into that for a while. They actually were in like a LARP group and had fun going with all that stuff. But yes, I just, again, it's silly in the sense where it's like stick your hand, but when they're talking about like the cross your arms, you're invisible, I'm like, it's so goofy in the sense of them talking about, but at the same time, I'm like, it is kind of, because exactly, you can't actually turn invisible in the game. So all these vampires with these vampire powers, this is how you've, right? But yeah, that's just a timeout for a moment. It's just like, Harry, stick your hand on top. You're like, what? Just do it, bro.
So Molly was supposed to come in with the present. She's taking too long. And this whole psychic shock thing, it's cool. I like it a lot. We've already seen instances of it and hints to it about
degrees.
Affecting Molly. But yeah, I like how this is like, Murphy before and now Thomas is like, well, you don't ever do that. And Harry's like, oh my gosh, different vampires, different wizards, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of kind of vampires, lots of kind of werewolves, okay? She's got different talents and she's better at sensing bullshit, so she gets more psychic whammy bullshit, okay? I'm an unsympathetic, uncaring man, so it doesn't matter.
I don't understand emotions. They have no effect on me.
Okay, I'm looking for tits and tits only.
And this is the thing, too, is that Harry's apprenticeship was harsh, but also very different. Because while Justin was very hard on him and threw baseballs instead of snowballs and stuff like that, he did not have constant up close and personal monster attacks, right? He was not meeting with...
That's true. Molly's in the field.
He was not running around with a white court vampire as a semi-ally. He was not having white or black courts and exactly right. Like Molly, since becoming
Touché.
I mean, again, her first sort of step out of the gate was all these movie monsters, right? Like as soon as she started listening power, she started attracting, right? So Harry didn't have any of that. His was all homeschooling, kind of theoretical, whereas Molly is also, so I'm like, that could be by the time Harry started facing these things. I mean, granted, 16, he had the one big, but he'd already had, 4 years of training on whatever, right? By the time he went out into the real world, he had built up all these. He'd been given training for sight, whether it's good or not. I mean, the court staper laughed at it and said, ha ha, the council is still doing this stupid shit. But he still had that much, whereas exactly Molly is still very new, very much learning, and is coming up against this stuff. So I'm like, that is also a good reason for her not having built the defenses against. I'm like, she's young, she's learning, she's just boom, right? But yes, she's very sensitive. And it's one of these things, like, this is the, I don't know, I get it. And we talked about this a bit in the last one, again, like, when it's convenient for Mouse, like, how Mouse never figured out the vampire in their midst. Priscilla? It's not Priscilla. Priscilla. Thank you. I'm, like, getting my Drusilas and Priscilla. Right, and like, well, she never did
Queen
anything.
of the Desert.
Yeah. Never did the super vampy, like, but I'm like, other times where exactly, I'm like, he's like, I'm just going to bring Mouse, because if I'm walking down the street and there's anything supernatural in like a 5-mile radius, Mouse will know.
Thomas is trying to retire. A vampire should have every right to retire. If it's not being whammy, okay, it's rude for Mouse to call them out.
That too, I don't know. But I mean, the fact that Thomas doesn't, right? Like, they're like, gee, why is Molly taking so long? And not until they look and are seeing Molly's physical reaction that they clue in. I'm like, this wasn't enough for his soup. I'm like, 5 minutes from now, they're going to go have a conversation. And Thomas is standing 10 feet away and can listen in perfectly. I'm like, you didn't hear the thing go whipping by in the parking lot? That, like, I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. It's just certain...
Distracting by the storm.
Yeah.
In some ways, white court vampires are the weakest of them, right?
They are.
And so, even though Thomas is strong for white court, it's still like, enclosed building, air conditioning.
I mean...
the voices drifting in from the food court.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Wi-Fi, too many steel girders.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? I'm sure there's 100. It's just sometimes these little things going back and forth about when they can and can't sense stuff sometimes is...
I think it's almost like Harry's listening, right? It's like he's got to actually focus for a second to, like, use those powers,
Yeah.
Thomas is just hanging out, having fun. He's like, I didn't even know I was on the clock right now, so fuck off.
And obviously he wasn't. But I mean, yeah, that's just the thing. Just moments where Harry is like, yeah, I was like, wizards, that's how I stay alive so long, is because I'm always expecting a trap in this.
Okay, Molly, what happened? I was walking back from the car and he fucking exploded.
Can I just say, excuse me, Your Honor, objection, leading the witness? Molly's like, I heard something like maybe a footstep and then like a light noise, like a thump. Was it maybe like a snap? Yeah, it was a snap. Oh, that guy totally got his neck broken. I mean, yes, okay, you're not wrong and we need to get there, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I would necessarily go from like a thump but softer to snap. Again, maybe if I had more experience dealing with, again, Thomas was like, my dad showed me how to do this. But regardless, yes, they figure out that whatever it was just happened so quickly.
Sometimes people have a Sherlock Holmes moment.
I
deduce.
But I love Thomas being like, oh yeah, good old grab and snatch. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, Dad showed me how it once. If you're fast enough, yeah, it's a thing you can do.
And that just reminds me of, I think it's The Boys, when the super speed guy is just running around and he accidentally hits someone while he's doing super speed and she just fucking explodes.
Ugh, yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, that's brutal.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oops. Wrong. Yeah.
The memory just like came to me like a second later.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That show's got some brutal like.
Yeah.
And I guess explains why this one was the only one that didn't get turned or whatever, because he just insta-died. But that is also like crazy when you think about that. That exactly. They didn't break his neck. They grabbed him so fast moving that he just whiplashed and broke your own neck, kind of like.
And that's totally feasible.
Yeah.
It's nice that they acknowledge that that happens.
But again, yeah, you have to be. And again, this maybe comes back a little bit to Drew Linda and her things, is that maybe it's not necessarily rising through the ranks, as maybe it's purely once you've mastered technique, like, you know what I mean? Almost kind of born to, if you're talented.
This is your graduation party, you get to go.
Well, not that it's your party, but just that, yeah, you're going to, make yourself...
make a name for yourself.
Right.
I was going to say, yeah, just hone your skills faster. Yeah. I mean, it's like Sheldon from Big Bang. He's like, boom, I'm going to graduate high school at 9. I'm going to graduate college at 14. I'm going to have my PhD by the time, right? He was good enough and able enough that he could just go boom, boom, boom. Whereas for most other people, that is not realistic. You got to put in, nobody's gotten their PhD before 30 or whatever the average age is for, you know what I mean? So I just meant that way, like maybe she just had enough skills, intent, motivation kind of a thing, that it's less about them granting you the distinction and simply like, if you can do 30 push-ups, you can do 30 push-ups, you're a push-up master. You know what I mean? Like, that's where,
30's the number to be a push-up master. Hey, you can't do 30. That's on you.
But one of the things that I like about this particular short story is that Jim Butcher handles cell phones better.
Yeah.
Like, first when Molly's like, we're going to do a tracking spell, or we're just going to call his cell phone, because he has one. And then when they're trying to figure out what to do, when shit starts to hit the fan, he's like, no, we have to leave because you have a cell phone that works.
Yeah.
And it will not work while we're trying to figure this out with the two of us here. And it's just... There was, to me, in comparison to some of the other books where characters would have a cell phone and it's not brought up. It is brought up when I was thinking, I was reading it and going, well, what about Thomas's cell phone? And then 2 paragraphs later, there it is.
Gotcha.
So it was a much more realistic.
Sorry, I thought you were saying something about earlier when they couldn't. I'm like, yeah, they can call his book. Okay, yeah, to other books where it's not utilized. Whereas here,
Here it's a proper
they
acknowledgement.
phoned him on it earlier, so he's got it. And yes, we can come back to that and be like, yeah, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. So that, yes, because the landline.
So that's one thing I really appreciated about it, because it doesn't always happen.
No, and again, a nice, fairly organic way to put it. It wasn't too forced or too whatever, right? Makes it, he's not at home, phone his phone, right? And wait, you've got a phone, you can.
But I do appreciate Molly's enthusiasm. I think we can track him. I got this and this and this.
Right? She's like, okay, you've given me all this shit to learn. He's like, that's fantastic. Once again, though, not the right situation. Every time I teach you something, sadly, that is not the opportunity to use it.
Less is more.
There is a lot of. But it's also fair, because if you've ever worked in a mall and had to go, it's very true about. Okay, actually, backtracking slightly. The one issue I have with this is that while Uncle Sarah's uncle might not have a problem with letting them use his bistro after hours, I think the mall would have a really big fucking problem with him allowing a bunch of teenagers or young people, whatever age they are, to use a space in the mall after hours. He might give permission to his place. I think the mall would be like, go fuck yourselves. That's way more liability and our security guards and either her fucking uncle owns the whole fucking mall. He greased some palms there. But I mean, I just feel like that is not. But regardless,
malls tend to have a little bit more lenience because old people.
Yeah, they come into their mall walking.
I shouldn't say that. Sorry, let's cut that. Mall walkers are usually they'll, because I too have worked in malls, and I remember going to start my shift, and there's already a bunch of people before everything's open running around. I
agree. I think mall walking though is way different, because in a lot of those instances,
and even Chinook has the mall's still open for movies, the mall entrance portions. You can easily walk through a mall when it's closed and it not be an issue, actually. So it's quite easy.
Okay, yeah, I guess if you've got the movie theater and stuff like that attached, and again, the mall walking thing, I'm like, yeah, that's usually in the morning. And again, there's usually one or two places in the food court that are open to serve coffee. So you have a presence in the mall, even if most of the there's again people in there doing stock to set up. It's not after hours where nobody is with a bunch of young people doing that. I just find that a little bit out of
working in a mall. I don't have an issue with this at all.
Maybe, but anyways. The other part, though, basically was what I was going to say was the fact that, where she's the security office is, of course, at the fucking other end of the mall. And again, because if you've ever done those administrative tunnels, those back alleys in between the stores and the shop, there is a whole mess of employee-only space and stuff like that. Where
and they're always creepy as fuck.
And again, because it's all just...
They based a horror game off of it, Silent Hill 3.
Oh, it was based off just the back rooms.
That's the start of it, is being in a mall and then suddenly you're in the back of it and it's
trying to find your way through the administrative area.
Monsters and shit. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary for a reason.
It's right. So I was going to say it does give sort of a good excuse that way, and a plausible thing as well, to be able to sort of remove them to, okay, let's go find the people's radios. You try and do your cell phone thing. And although even that, because I would assume that his cell phone did work quite well, and that if he doesn't have direct to Murphy, he probably has SI's number and shit by now, because again, dealing with the supernatural, Thomas is going to know. Don't bother necessarily.
He's going to know.
You call 911, you don't call 911. But this, I mean, again, it's one of those things where obviously it all time is distorted when you are telling a story. The time it takes you to tell and describe everything. So all of this could have been fucking 15 minutes from top to bottom. It could have been a fucking hour. Who knows exactly how long all this...
I'm betting 30 minutes in the mall. Right? I think Harry was there 30 minutes.
So half an hour, right? But I mean, again, part of it is really it took them that long. Because if Thomas managed to call out right away, and Murphy didn't get her guys.
And there's a lot of what ifs, because we're not there to see that part of it. So who knows?
Well, that's what I mean. Again, basically it's all gone down by the time the cops and the fire trucks and all that start showing up. Anyways, but yes.
So... car comes bashing through the mall wall. That's exciting.
Is crazy, because the last time cars get thrown around was
Cowl and
Cowl. Yeah. Totally. But cars belong in malls. There's always a car in a mall.
There's always a car in a mall.
How did I get them in there?
This is completely gratuitous violence. Completely and 100%. Because we know those fucking doors are open. Harry and Molly, and they all they were
showing off.
Yeah, they just had to bash through all.
They did not. Yeah, they did not need to fucking break into. This is purely for show and terror to just be like something just through a car.
Show and terror. That's exactly right.
Yeah. We didn't drive it in. Like that's the other. I mean, I'm sure yes. Well, by the time the police get there, they'll assume it was driven in.
And also, shocking, it wasn't Harry's car.
What a nice change for once.
Right?
That it was somebody else's. He's like, but at the same. Other than the noise and because again, the way I picture this again is basically you come in on like the hall entry, and then again, this is like a little store cafe off to the side with them all kind of in, not necessarily like largely. Oh, I feel like most of the people in the bistro having their little game thing wouldn't necessarily have seen this.
I think they would have heard it, though.
You would have heard it. Yeah, guaranteed you would hear. And suddenly, as soon
everything,
as you look
the lights
to see
are off,
car,
the phones are off, and then a loud crash. I think that's scary.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Yes, I know. But I just, again, from the vampire's point of view, again, this is what I'm saying, where it's a little bit gratuitous, and that is that, okay, yes, you've suddenly got a car flying into the building, but I'm like, it's not like you picked up the car in front of them and chucked it. They're just getting sort of the aftermath of all of it. That was my whole point. It was just completely unnecessary.
Needing the security guards because you think that they'll know more exits and entrances and like ways to get out and ways to help these people. Like that's where I disagree because it's a mall. Every kilometer, half kilometer, there's doors to the outside again. Just keep walking. If you're afraid that there's more vampires patrolling, how are the security guards going to help with that? They're not allowed to have guns.
You all out the back.
They can't have anything anyways. So that for me is a little bit more like. I don't know, getting to the radios is about the only thing that maybe is.
And I kind of agree with you that way. Like, again, malls have exactly for that. One, they want a lot of people coming in, so.
Doors everywhere.
The doors coming in, all sort of the door. And again, things like fire hazards and whatever is exactly, you have tons and tons of exits on these places, as we were just discussing. There's back rooms, almost, not all of them, but the majority of mall outlets have some back room, back hallway to them. So this bistro probably has a fucking hallway. I mean, again, not necessarily, but the other thing I was going to say to that is that 9 times out of 10, especially in this day and age, it's probably fucking like day 2 for like half of those security guards. It's not like they've all been there 30 years working this mall and they know. I'm like, they're fucking temps in and out, coming and going. Like, maybe most of them are like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Like, they hired me to change light bulbs and It's just a small point to develop moving, getting out, and splitting them up. Like, that's just a plot device. It's just... Yeah, it's a display of strength, for sure. Oh, yeah, I didn't say that. I just said it's purely gratuitous.
Like you said, show and terror is correct.
All the way. I like that phrase. I'm going to keep that. Show and terror. That was good.
Then turns out they're too late because somebody's already in security office.
Yeah. Only you. And the raspy voice. A terribly, terribly sung version. Now, I don't care how dead you are or how evil you are. How bad do you have to be to not... Because he says the tune is completely unrecognizable. How do you fuck up? I can't sing. I'm pretty sure people understand if I'm singing Happy Birthday without just the lyrics giving it away.
Well, later it's described that her tongue is like a piece of bacon or something. Or what is it?
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Yeah, because she's all dried out and desiccated.
Yeah, so that's going to be hard to, keep a pitch.
Well, maybe she's worried about copyright, okay?
But that's the brilliance of Happy Birthday, and why you can use it is because it's not a copyrighted piece of music, which
is... I
thought it wasn't. I thought
it is. That's why everyone sings for He's a Jolly Good Fellow or something.
Oh, fuck. Okay, fine.
My question is, okay, so Harry says, in a voice that I recognized, right? So for me, I'm thinking we're going to know this person. He just means a demon voice. He's like, just a shitty vampire
That is
voice.
a black vampire talking.
Yeah, but when he first said that, the first time I read this, I was like, so we're going to know this person. And I was like, Constance, do we not know a Constance? And Harry's mad at them for not knowing a Constance. And I was like, and he kind of did a reference. He was like, Linda Blair, which is like Exorcist stuff, right? So
yeah, sounds like Linda Blair.
But I was like, no, it's not any of these things. That's a vampire voice. Yeah. I know a vampire voice. It's like, all right.
Yes, the tone and makeup is what was familiar, not...
And that's why Happy Birthday sucks, because apparently they just have no tone. That died off with them as well.
I guess, but of all the things... Intentionally
being creepy by making it sound awful.
Yep. Maybe it was intentional to mangle but yeah.
So come to find out, there was this girl. She used to play a character called Linda, and everyone hated her guts. So now she's back to kill everyone.
Not
even 1 year ago.
Excuse me. The opposite of love is not hate. It's an
absence of
apathy. I was about to say antipathy, but that's not apathy. They didn't necessarily hate it. They just didn't know. It's same thing as that Buffy episode, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, where that girl turned invisible because just everybody ignored her and didn't know her. So eventually she just literally melted into the background. Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't hate this girl. She just wasn't popular and well known. And I think she ran away. She was so unknown that nobody even realized she got kidnapped, killed, whatever.
Right. We don't exactly know how or why she became a vampire, but now she's using it for her own benefit. Which makes me wonder, these LARPers only meet up once a year?
No,
so,
she just became the grand, like you say, right? So either again, I think it probably has more to do with the symmetry of it being like a year since she disappeared and now she's the real thing coming back. I think that's just maybe they do like a regular sort of Valentine
meetup, but
meetup or
I
something.
think she says like she just disappeared a year ago or something.
Because Sarah's like I don't know. I think she ran away
left
from home or something, and so she obviously. But I think that has more significance than the fact that this group only meets once a year. But either it worked out well, or again, she knew that they were going to have their Valentine's sexy vampire group night.
So it's a good thing that Molly's there because it's veil time.
It's veil time.
Not that it helps much when Harry
it helps too busy
gagging.
What does she do? Bowing her head with a frown of concentration and folding her arms across her chest. She was like, right, crossing your arms means invisibility. It just made me laugh because I was listening to the audiobook again today and she was like,
I missed that.
And if you cross your arms, it means you're invisible. And Harry's like, do a veil. And Molly's like, I cross my arms. And I was like, hey, you weren't even here for that conversation. How do you know that?
Again, given where Molly just came from with the whole HorrorCon thing, she knows the LARPers too.
It just made me laugh though. I was like, hey.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That is a little bit.
Thank you for pointing that out. I totally missed it. That's great. I like it.
I was going to say, it's just keeping in.
Everybody knows this means invisibility, okay?
Right? She's just.
So meta.
Yeah, bringing it home for like Sarah and stuff like that, right? When they can explain this all away and be like, I don't know, she did the thing, and I guess like it just, they didn't see us when they went by.
It was so
like
high
crazy.
that I really thought I was invisible.
They're really murdering us, but they respect the rules, so if we had all been running around with our hands on our head, we would have been safe. That one's on us.
So like that whole mind over matter, right? Ostrich in the ground. It's just if they can't see it, we can't see them, they can't see it. We just believe so hard that we were invisible that they just, didn't notice us.
I love it. That's awesome.
Which is basically what happened.
But she still smells like she's rotting. All of her lackeys smell like they're rotting. It's like, ugh, gross.
Freshly rotting, which,
that was a fast turnaround.
That was a really fast turnaround. And
I know real human bodies got a couple hours before we start rotting.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like the minions wouldn't really have
I think it's just like the vampire bite is just like poison itself.
Maybe accelerates the process and that. Because, I was gonna say...
You can't sit with us if you still have flesh.
Right, like anybody. Not that I've been around any human corpses, but again, right, you have a mouse or something die in your house. It's like a day or two before you start to notice and before it really gets bad enough to be like, things like this, right? So I'm like, the fact, again, in like half an hour that these things are, I'm like, I don't think a human body would start to smell. I mean, same thing, people leave food out on the counter.
I guess the body was like, fine, if we don't get to do rigor mortis, then I'm just going to start rotting.
You're going to work me through this? That's it, advanced aging, yeah. But I'm like, I can get, and that's the other thing too, I'm like, I don't know how much a dead body still smells after a year. I'm like, a well-preserved body, sure, because it's been preserved. If she's been out running around and desiccating this whole time, I feel like
it's doing its conversion to like wood. What doesn't it say? Like she turns
kind of like a,
still juicy
like a few bits, but regardless, yes, I could see her having more of a smell horrific than the security guards.
Yeah. I'm still shocked about how fast the security guards turn because I think maybe I'm biased by like the Anne Rice ones where like basically it takes overnight for their human body to die and then they come out a day late. They come out a day later and they're
Yeah.
turned.
Buffy, I feel like there was occasionally a sort of quick, but essentially that was the gig there. And why she always patrolled the graveyards is because, again, it usually took them like a day. So, after the funeral or what, I mean, even a few, because let's face it, most bodies, it takes a few days to get from death to a funeral and burial. And obviously it was all these guys popping up out of their graves, having been buried kind of a thing. And yes, there was a few where maybe like the next day kind of a thing.
There's also embalming, though, in that process. So they actually remove the stuff that would...
Which is a whole other thing to get into, because I feel like not all vampiric corpses have been embalmed and have everything removed.
Excuse me, I gotta go use the bathroom.
Again, just
I
get...
think the Unrice Vampire books actually acknowledge that a little bit, where they, soil themselves.
I think it does a little bit more, because you're right. There's that whole thing about if they don't need to eat, then their body wouldn't convert anything.
But
And what
maybe
would-
this is
Twilight
Twilight
had to write an explanation as to how they could impregnate people, okay? So...
This is the smell coming from the security guards. It's not actually that they're...
Oh, it's not the rotting smell. It's just the release of all the bodily function smell. Yeah, that would be a more believable. But yes, I do have a slight problem that, again, if we're saying all this happened within a half an hour or something like that, that is super, super. And again, seems in direct opposition of the fact that black vampires are harder to make, black core vampires, and the whole propagation takes blah, 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 blah for her to have, yeah. So that one's a little bit out of character. They definitely should have plopped their hands on top for that one, because that one doesn't fit. But regardless.
Unreliable narrator. He's also reviewing everything, looking at it from behind. Or after the fact.
After the fact, hindsight.
Okay, so Molly, having not experienced or dealt with black court vampires, right? I'm totally happy with that. And it's absolutely terrifying for Harry to be like, do not let them take you alive. And her getting to know the implications. That's scary as fuck. And we've been over that before with dealing with them before. Harry's been like, that's the worst thing ever. If you let them take you, telling Molly, don't let them take you alive, that's fucking terrifying.
Depending exactly what you're thinking of. I mean, Bianca did the whole join me thing, if you're just talking about that. If you're talking about blacks, which is why, I think if you're getting there, but there have been the odd, obviously, whatever they're always trying to get.
It has been acknowledged before that if a wizard being turned into a vampire is hugely dangerous. That has been acknowledged.
I was just going to say, yeah, it has with the whole vampire war, because that's the thing. They're like, if they get us, they have all of our, because that was the thing that was...
Right, no, yeah. When when they did the evacuation from the hospital or whatever like that, right? And they were like, if they get us, we're fucked. They can't have wizards. And we were saying the vampires have the patrols to go and be recruiting brand new wizards like Molly or whatever. That's what they should be doing is trying to get them, since the White Council's not trying to collect them. The Red Court should be the ones trying to run around and collect them, or the Black Court should be the ones running around.
Pull a Justin Dumour. Come on.
Exactly, yeah. Wait out for
Raise your army. Literally, from babies.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when you were talking before about the Anno Dracula and how each line sort of has their super, and I was like, that even is not necessarily specific to, because Mavra can do some sorcery, and Bianca was learning some sorcery from her. So even that, they were like, oh, you're crossing. You can't even say well, the Black Court isn't able to do this. Apparently anybody can learn.
I think that's a little bit of that innate sort of talent. Everyone can learn something, and some of them are more prone to it, but also having hundreds or thousands of years, you can learn anything.
That too. But yes, that was the biggest thing, like you say, with the onset of the Vampire Wars, exactly. If they're if they turn any of us, they will have full wizard powers on top of all their vampiric powers and all the inside knowledge and whatever. So,
but again, it would suck to be a black vampire and it would Black Court vampire because of the ooziness and nastiness.
Yeah,
sure, yeah. But it would just, again, to be in Molly's position now and realize this is some of the worst of the worst. Do not let them take you alive is
kill yourself before you let them turn you, kind of a thing. And again, Molly also knowing the road she could have done and knowing the potential for power that she has and all that, she would be a really fucking formidable bad guy, fully turned and all that too. She could have been bad enough on her own. Now you add in no morals, no conscience, and but again, leaps, because again, Molly's what do we say, 20-ish or whatever at this point, leaps and bounds for her to kind of understand and accept. Now again, who knows, might not be easy to do in that moment had she got there, but at least, consciously she's okay, I agree, I know I'm going to, that's just that's not easy for most people to do, let alone at that age. People say, yeah, no problem, I will totally off myself instead of let them get me. Yeah.
But it's growth, okay? Sit here and protect Sarah and do nothing else. That's growth, okay?
It is. So it gets them out of the way without, and again, the fact that Molly does it, she offers, what else can I do? And he's like, don't slow me down. And that Molly is now accepting of that. She's like,
oh my God, shoes.
Well, yes, give me your shoes.
Okay.
I really, really, really like the upcoming with the shoes
cobs.
and the cobs. The cobs, I love them. I love them so much.
It's very cute.
The elf and the shoemaker.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, the little
it made me
cobbler
very
elves.
happy.
This is a whole fantastic little...
So another thing, Harry helped set these guys up at a shoe repair shop in exchange for eating all the vending machine treats that they wanted. Unclear who he set this up with, whether it was the shoe store maker himself or the Sarah's uncle. But
Yes, I think he just owns the bistro, not the mall. But yes, I know, because part of me is like, unless they got like a little back room. But if you live in a mall, most things in a mall, tiny space, and because everything is accessible, you don't really have much of an employee room. Most you might have a counter table kind, but generally you're not going to have a vending machine in your store because the mall has a vending machine and the mall has a fucking food court. Your people go get food when they're in the mall or they bring their own. Maybe if you're lucky, like a mini fridge or something. But again, most of these places don't because there's no need. You're in a fucking mall. Everything is accessible, right?
I think they're probably not monitoring the inventory as much with the vending machine as there are shoes going missing.
Yeah, but this is what I find vaguely interesting, though, is that it's unlike... So, yeah, I feel like, again, the deal would have been struck with the owner of the shoe store who was having shoe problems and be like, no, dude, don't just sell shoes, you can repair shoes. But them not having it seems odd to me that little shoe store would have its own vending machine, say. So I'm like, so you made a deal with the shoe store owner who gets a great deal on repairing shoes and shit and making the problem, but they get to eat all the vending machine out of like the mall.
That's why I'm saying maybe they have a deal with the uncle, or maybe the guy is just paying for the vending machine snacks for them. Okay,
maybe
it's
I don't
still probably
know.
cheaper than a wage.
But it's still kind of funny that they all live in there, but then they're just gonna like roam the mall. I'm like, what is it? One vending machine?
Well, they're fairies. It's not that people can see them. Okay,
do they plunder?
They can
like,
probably
the
get in and out of the vending machine
court?
very happily.
Oh,
okay?
I'm sure they can. But you know what I mean? Again, it's just funny. I'm like, they don't need to fucking ask. They were just there taking shoes, but they could just fucking help themselves to everything in the food court.
As everyone knows, there's always a vending machine that gives extra. Okay, and when you find that vending machine, you shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to make sense. It's just once you get the fairy to agree to it, they have to agree to it. So maybe they used to ransack the whole mall, and he's like, you get one vending machine and a shoe store.
Now, I do like Harry being okay, people do not like being strong-armed into things, and especially the little folks that get walked on all the time, but I don't have time for diplomacy, so here's what's going to happen. I mean, honestly, that's all very fair. I agree with all.
Well, and he states it, too. He says, I deal fairly, and I will honor my bargain.
And
so he's like,
I'll buy you pizza.
Yeah, right? He's like, I will reward you.
I love it,
will.
no matter what kind of fairy it is, okay? Fucking pizza.
Right. Yes, it's a super great exchange. It's super cute. I love how he's like, hey, growing family. I know a family of 9, very active. You could branch out. You guys all don't have to be confined to this one tiny shoe store anymore.
That's too funny. Hey, Michael, can some elves move in?
By the way, I just
You can live in your shed or something, but all your shoes will be repaired forever. You'll never buy shoes again.
Right. Which, for Michael and his family, is a great deal.
That'd be pretty good, okay?
I'm sure.
You're already making enough for 9. What's 10 or 11 or 12, you know? They can't eat that much, right?
Oh, look, the youngest kids just would get all of the hand-me-downs forever.
Infinite hand-me-downs look pristine.
They already do. It's a family of 9.
Yeah, but eventually they wear out, but now they're not going to wear out.
Well, yeah, but it's a single-income family
This
of a
out-of-style set pair of shoes that like belong in the 70s or like still going in the 90s.
Yeah. Welcome to a family of 9.
Again, though, I think they'd be in pristine condition, though.
Yeah. They would, yes, they would be able to get. And they clearly know how to deal with fancy, expensive. So and he's all like, oh, are those Gucci? And she's like, they're Prada. And he's like, oh, I hope I didn't, ruin my gay cred by not... Fuck, Harry, I could not fucking tell you the difference between a Prada and a Gucci shoe. Everything I own comes from, like, fucking Walmart. And the only thing maybe is it's the Louboutins that have the red soles on them, right? I think that might be the only thing I could maybe visually identify because they have a rugged soul.
Yeah, I know a lot of gay guys that would have no clue.
That too.
That's
Is
not a requirement.
It's not a requirement. I just find it so funny that I'm like, the fact that you need it for shoes. Who cares? I'm like, I'm impressed you can identify the Birkenstocks. Okay, but anyways, my point is, yes, these elves can obviously do nice, fancy designer shoes. So Charity at least might be in for an upgrade here.
You can spend a little bit more on your shoes because
they will last forever.
You're not going to be constantly replacing
also,
them. So
I'm also thinking she can fucking go buy like the $5 ones from Walmart, and the little Keebler elves
are gonna make them amazing. Yeah, I think it's just like you don't even have to buy bigger sizes. Like they could probably just resole it into bigger sizes as needed too.
They can exactly. They make shoes. They can just frickin' anyways.
Yeah.
But yes,
that's true. They make shoes from scratch.
This is the whole. They just This
is very handy. It's like having the brownies that clean up. Like,
yeah. So be grateful, Michael.
Yeah, I don't think Michael's gonna have.
We don't talk about the shoes. Like we don't talk about the cleaning rates.
Yeah. But yes, it's very cute. The characters are funny and sweet. The whole exchange, and Harry's like,
and you get to know what shoegasm is about.
Well, you couldn't tell immediately from the name. Obviously, it's by people who are into shoes. Me, not that into shoes, as you may have guessed from the last 2 minutes. But I'm sure to some people that is, yes, the shoegasm is a very actually cute name for her.
So the Cobbs do reconnaissance and find out that this is where we do find out that 3 of the guards are now...
Once again, here's the mysterious phone call we don't know. Go get me something I need that we won't find out until I use it. And also, do the recon and tell me where everybody is.
I totally missed that when I was reading it, like that he asked him to go get something.
Because
I missed
it's easy and small.
He's like, here are your weapons you requested.
Yeah, because that's what I say. She's like, can you go get something for me? Of course I can. Okay, perfect. But so well, those hidden throwaway moments that are not obvious.
You have to pay attention to every single little detail or else you miss something.
This is why I think it's weird, because the way he phrases all this does seem like the fairies are giving him a lot of leeway. They actually helped him out a lot more than they needed to. Because if you're just going on the parameters of a deal of what you said, then he's like, and also this, and then also this, and then show me how to sneak up on them. If I was the fairies, or even when they loses his shoes, and he's like, you've got to be very careful about what you say to fairies, because I could have lost my shoes too.
Yeah.
And he immediately just starts attacking things on. I'm like, wow, this is really forgiving.
Him.
Yeah, seriously.
They just really like him, is what.
You're lucky.
I was gonna say, he's like, hey, I'm here to protect people. I need to protect people. So maybe it was this very broad promise, and you're gonna give me everything I need to protect people right now. I didn't say there was 2 things I needed. I just,
And he also does actually set a boundary when he first starts negotiating. He's like, I owe you, but nothing that counts for my life.
Yeah.
That's that's not a fair deal. So no. So he has the
it's fair.
Because it's open-ended like this, he could still say no. Yeah. You're like, no, this is fair, not fair now.
What Harry asks of them really is not even
it's not major.
It's actually really easy.
And once again, I think playing slightly to the vanity, because he's like, I told him what I wanted, and he asked if he could get it. He's like, of course you fuckwad. That's not even a challenge, right? So, I mean, it's a little bit of that too, right?
Yeah.
He'd just be like, I need this. Be like, no, you probably can't get this for me. Yes, I can. Just watch me get it for you.
So one of the things I noticed about this particular short story is it's a lot more grody. Gross. All these how things.
That's vampires.
A little more that's what he not tried to emphasize this enough. Everything with the black cord is just disgusting.
But it's the way he once we get, because he gets led to this first one, and how he uses gravity to make it a puddle of goo.
Now, it is
disgusting.
It is disgusting. And the way he describes it, right? So he's like, I just pulled all the gravity from everybody else. That stuff all went up. This was like...
He said in 50 yards, though. I would expect more damage.
Yeah, well, but basically he's like, the effect was like dropping an anvil on him. I'm like, does this take us back to his last big fight with the bugs, which I believe was blood, right? And for my next trick, anvils! Boom!
So funny.
I don't know if it was meant to be a direct connection or anything there, Butcher, but...
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I saw, I was like, that's the next time you warned them.
I don't know, but reading through these parts was very cringy, because not only does he completely make it a puddle of vampire with his gravity trick, but that it's still alive.
It's still twitching.
And then it has to be killed like a slug with the garlic.
Yeah, you didn't actually stake it through the heart, so it's technically not dead yet. But you need the garlic, the steak, the whatever.
I did make the note that unlike a Buffy episode, it does not burst into ash. It just turns into a puddle of flesh that now isn't moving.
Yeah, I was
covered in garlic.
Yeah, and that was the easy thing.
How do you explain that later? They're walking through the parking lot and there's
That's what
Ew.
people like SI are for, okay?
Yeah.
You send it to the lab and then you say, chemical warfare by terrorists.
Oh, got killed by garlic.
Yeah.
Extreme
And
allergy.
he ate garlic.
Pending is what is left to identify it, or if they just assume somebody,
This body
dumped
was
garbage
already
out of
It
dead.
there.
might just be
And
considered
then
an oil
was-
spill and ignored.
I was going to say, now here's an interesting question. If you have essentially splattered, liquefied the heart, if you stuck, if you touched the heart matter with a stake, would that, I don't know, what is it about? You've now flattened and squished this thing. There's no heart to stake. But technically, all the things that made up the stake, I'm like, can you just stick a stake in a puddle of red goo and be like, I stake you through the heart?
Fully liquified, because I guess the heart is
Well,
just
he's
enough
kind of-
intact
well,
that
I
it's still
mean, but-
moving. But
Well, the arms and the legs, but that's just, being
Still grody,
a
grody,
philosophical
grody,
question
grody.
there on what is it about the staking that kills us? Just wood touching the heart?
well, sunlight. Like if they're allergic to sunlight, moonlight is just reflected sunlight.
You would think. I know. Why do they get to run around in? But that was specifically why they decided to make the Buffy bodies dust, is because they're like, we can't just have these corpses littering,
Everywhere.
and everybody would know about it, and everybody would be. So they're like, this way. It just
On with the wind.
The norms see less because
Frankly, I
there's,
don't give a damn.
there's no evidence to prove, and then they didn't have to have Buffy wasting time trying to clean up bodies all the time and everything like that.
Which was a problem in Teen Wolf. They always had to go and dig holes.
Yeah, right. So that was one way. So I can appreciate the butcher, I'm like, yes, there specifically was like, we don't want to deal with this. We'll just make them. Also, so Harry once again gives his, I don't really use earth magic a lot. It's not like entirely in my wheelhouse, but it's, so I don't understand why he doesn't bone up on it. We see Morgan use some of it in Dead, because when he goes after Harry for killing Lucio and stuff like that, Morgan uses a bit of earth magic in
You
that.
see it in Warcry with the other wardens.
Yeah,
erecting
yeah.
the house. And
Yeah, they do.
a lot of different variations of
Yeah.
types of magic
So,
in that one.
I do and I don't. Harry says it's not really that quick. I'm like, again, if you're maybe not well practiced in it, and that is his problem of why it takes longer. But I'm like, it seems like it doesn't even take him that long. I've seen, Morgan and the other wardens use some. I'm like, I get certain things not being effective, but I feel like it's not. And I feel like if you, this seems a pretty effective thing to just suddenly squash people in place.
It also sounds like he kind of forgets about it because he's like, oh,
well, yeah,
that's
that's-
actually really effective. Why don't I do this more often?
And he does kind of say oh, it took it out of me. But again, part of him being it took it out of me is again the lack of practice, the lack of use, right? Again, you're not used to doing push-ups. Suddenly you do 30 push-ups, you're tired. If you do 100 push-ups a day, 30 is not going to make you tired, right? I don't understand sometimes why, because obviously he's not completely inept at it. It's not that he can't do it at all. Even I think with some of Molly's talents, they're slightly more talents, right? She just has a natural sensitivity too. So no matter how much Harry practices, right, he's never going to get as good as Molly. But this is slightly more in line with his blowing things up, this earth magic. I don't understand why, even if it's not as 100% natural as some of his others, when he uses it as effective, we see other people, I'm like, I don't understand why he doesn't think of it, why he forgets about it, why he does it. And maybe that's just simply, again, Butcher not giving Harry too much power or something. But I just find his excuses flimsy, and I'm like, this feels like something that could be useful to you. And even if it's somewhat of a power suck, there's still opportunity, maybe not every single time, but I still feel like there's lots of times you could.
The way that I think about it is starting a fire. And then the fire will keep fucking being a fire.
Fire keeps
Gravity,
burning.
you have to turn it on and then you have to turn it back off. That's using energy twice.
Yeah.
Or you put it on a timer where it's for 3 seconds, all the gravity's, and it's such a huge amount of effort. I'm I feel like fire. Harry's that's so easy because I just have to start the spark. And then
it burns
it goes
itself.
and does its own shit without me having to do anything else. I don't have to turn it off if I don't want to. I don't have to. Fire will burn whatever the fuck else comes after that.
Yes, and rolling a boulder again, eventually it will lose momentum or it will run into exactly whereas fire, as long as there's fuel, will keep.
Yeah, it obviously comes down to practice. If Harry would just try, he would get better and better and better at it, and it would be less and less effort. But if he doesn't, it's why would I do that, though, when I can just light things on fire all day long without that much effort?
I guess, but again, as he says here, that's not the best, right? It's going to be noisier, it's going to be flashier, it's going to be, again, maybe not as often, maybe not. And again, like you say, it might be a bigger power
as we've seen
draw.
for Harry, when he's up against the wall, up against the clock, whatever, he's fine, let's go loud then. I don't care, I want to survive. If that was his only option here, he would have done that too. But since he had time to sneak up, he's all right, We can be safe. But if he hadn't had time to sneak up or didn't know how to do gravity, then he would have been like, fuck it, who cares? We're taking down the mall.
Yeah, this isn't an argument for it. I'm just saying, yes, I don't get why he doesn't. I feel like this could be more of a prize. It's like his belt buckles and the things he uses once and never goes back. I'm like, this is a brilliant tool, Harry. But again, like I say, it's just Butcher's way of making sure he doesn't become... But anyways, my take on it, I feel like Harry should use more Earth magic. Only you can squash a vamp in two.
Okay, so Thomas is fighting Blackrobe vampires as well.
So, yes, we squashes the first one out in the parking lot, all sneaky deaky, goes inside, and is like, how do I let Thomas know?
There's a ceiling. Whoops.
Yeah, well, this is just cute, because at first, I'm like, why the fuck did you throw just fucking squash him like you did the other one? But, oh yes, that's right, because not only does it distract the vampire that didn't really need distracting, it also gives Thomas the heads up that Harry's about to make a move. So maybe it would be a good time for Thomas to make a move too. That poor present.
Yeah, I just sort of assumed, like, once he gets to the end, he's like, oh, I forgot to grab it. I thought he was buried and inflamed, like...
No, I'm sure at that point, too, yeah.
He didn't have a choice, man. It was not surviving.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's a fair point that there was nothing to... he could have checked, but yeah, so as Harry decides...
Lots more fighting going on, because, like...
Yeah, so as Harry makes the move on this one in a much bigger, splashier, some pun intended. Yeah, Thomas also makes his move and throws Drulinda out the window. So now we got things going on both fronts.
So Thomas does get kind of whooped, so we know that Drulinda.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Not Drusilla, not Drusilla.
Dum-dum.
Drulinda, but why is she so angry about her lackeys getting killed? Like, honestly, like, you didn't even care about them. She just seems like such a rage, and I was like, but really, like...
I think just at the typical, like, she's showing off. I'm all powerful. Like, look, I can make new vampires. I just made, like, 3 of them, and already you just, like, squished them and took them out like that. Like,
and here to kill you all, and now she's killed none of them?
Yeah.
3 of hers are dead? Yeah, she's
irrational anyway.
I assume it's more of that petulant sort of...
She's, like, getting petty revenge on people that just ignored her for like, it doesn't really have to make sense, because she's...
I'm allowed to be pissy and break your toys, but you're not allowed to break my toys.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she is.
I think it's, not that she cares about them per se, but...
She also definitely makes the mistake that everybody else does, which is like oh, I recognize you. You're Dresden, and I'm going to be the one that kills you and makes myself famous for it. Mistake. This is your fatal mistake. You said those words out loud.
Right. Has that worked out for anybody yet?
Why do you think all of the rest of the vampires are scared of him? For good reason.
But then again, Malvera is still walking around, so you never know. You might be the other one. I mean, technically, Madrigal faced him.
Is what it was.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And this is the downfall of almost all of them. This is why we say criminals are stupid, right? Is there's no perfect plan, because there's always something that'll... Right. But thank goodness, because yes, if they were all super good, then it would be the Mavra files. Harry would have died in book 1, and some other wizard would have come along book 2, and some other wizard would have come along book 3.
I really appreciate what Harry does, though. Like, the fact that, number 1, he does do that sort of garlic spit in your eye. But the fact is that he's like, you've heard of me, but if I'm not saying anything, and
it was, right?
Something's up.
Like, the thing that was funny to me too, that was when I read it, and I was like, why the fuck would you have your back to her? Like, that makes no sense at all. Oh, so you could shove things in your mouth. Okay.
I was gonna say, because it's all good, right? He throws it, and of course she it would have been great had it worked, but he's like, in case she manages to dodge it, because she's super fucking fast and shit. But exactly, it's one of those things where it's like kind of subconsciously you sort of notice that he's not lipping out, whatever, but I didn't really fully recognize until he kind of makes the point, and you're like, oh yeah, you haven't, right? That's why
you've been so nice. Must be because she's a girl.
And again, it's that kind of thing where, because again, we get Harry's internal thoughts. You don't always realize he's not
Chirping.
Yeah, chirping the same way, exactly, right? So you're like, oh, he's all concerned about, oh no, he let the girl get captured, and he's trying to work out
Like you said,
how
this
to...
is very action-packed. Everything is like,
It is
go,
very
go, go,
action-packed,
go, go,
but
right?
yeah, it's like you kind of sort of notice, but you don't fully take until he's like, listen, anytime I'm not beaking off, and you were like,
Oh, yeah, he
that's
wasn't.
right,
Yeah.
you weren't. It was all in your head, not out
It was
loud.
a very good moment. I liked it.
It was wonderful. And just enough. I mean, kudos to him. Because an
Mother,
entire
You'd almost
house of
install like a fake tooth so you can just like crack open and spit out garlic powder, you know?
just carry it around. Yeah, instead of like cracking open a cyanide, he just cracks open his little...
Or maybe holy water, but just like it just seemed funny. I'm like, that's a good idea. You should just always have that. You know, an arsenic pill that you take right before they kill you, but it's garlic powder, so you can...
Yeah, exactly. I think
funny.
I covered that with the cyanide.
What a funny guy.
Just like he hides nails places everywhere in the city.
I still think that'd be a great idea, okay?
You just reach into this tree
I thought it was good
and
enough
pluck
that I
out
still
a
remembered it
nail.
now. I don't remember the other books, but I remember the nails.
That and his pigeon messaging
Yeah, I was going to
service.
say the carrier pigeons. Oh, man.
Oy vey. But yes, beautiful. And just enough to put her off balance to,
I love reading Kansas notes sometimes because it's just like lots of crashing, lots of screaming. Drusilla's a master vampire. Good for her! Exclamation mark. Like, yeah, feminism.
I don't always make all the jokes. Sometimes it's for Patreon.
That is so cute. Oh my gosh.
I was just like trying to scroll through them at the end and it just like caught my eye. It's like, good for her.
Derlinda's a master vampire. Who knew? Only a year. Good for her.
Poor Thomas, again. Strong for a white court. Once again, not up to. He always gets his butt kicked just a little bit by when he has to go more than short term, right? He doesn't have the endurance to hold up against.
Gives all that he's got, and then he's unconscious.
And then once again, they throw him through a plate glass window and knock him out for a while. So,
Which, come to think of it, is not unlike some of the early Harry fights as well. Except he wins it, and then he's unconscious.
yeah.
He just makes sure to get over that point.
But again, we got to give Harry the back him into a corner, put him on the defensive, but have him save the day. Let's take out his allies. They did helpful stuff, but now it's down to him. And then, yes, the very, very sweet moment afterwards. So apparently everybody just fucking got the fuck out of there. And they're like, that's okay. We don't care. Nobody has to give statements to the cops when they show up.
GTFO, they'll forget about it eventually.
Right?
One of those fever dreams eventually.
One of those fever dreams. And yeah, just the whole thing, how they're like, yeah, they'll start rationalizing it bit by bit to themselves. And he's like, I don't know, the cops will just decide it was like
See, Butters and Deadbeat.
yeah.
Who knew and acknowledged it, and then still started
Still
explaining
could
it
not
away.
help coming up with excuses for
See how easy
this
it
is yeah.
And Butters lost his job for being able to see the
Sticking
truth.
to-
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was open-minded. Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't back down, and then he still is
Happens to the best of us, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love how they're like, oh, the cops will, like, yeah. It's kind of funny because that's what Sarah does in the first place, right? She's like, terrorists. He's like, oh, yeah, something bad. And then Thomas is like, terrorists are real popular. Like, but yeah, I love how exactly you've cleaned this whole thing out, and you're just going to leave it entirely for, like, the cops to try and figure out. I mean, it might not be that hard. I mean, again, there's sort of an epicenter of destruction. Maybe they'll trace it to the
mall,
bistro.
you know,
Maybe they'll
things
figure
being
out
crushed with the ceiling falling in the fire. That's a lot. But the puddle of vampire outside that was next to his car.
Again, you've seen...
And inside now.
Yes.
Again, which is now buried under the who knows, and the fire, who knows how far that fire spread, it might have dried up. But you've seen mall parking lots. There are a lot of inexplicable stains and messes
Yeah,
that
but it's still flesh. He says it was moving flesh, and now it's not moving
was
flesh.
Still, I don't
Like,
know. Maybe he gave it a little.
He's like, why is there a pot roast on the...
But he flattened it. I know. I'm just thinking the amount
very
of
tenderized. I don't know.
It's yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the part that stuck out to me. It was like when they were like, he's like, oh, my poor car. Like, and they're leaving, and it was like, and some poor guy is going to
And
walk
again,
up and be
he's like,
what's this? Ew.
he's like,
Is that? Oh.
Murphy's got to earn a paycheck,
Yeah.
okay? He's like, I'm not just going to... I already told her how to fight this shit. She still has to figure out how to explain it all away. Okay? That's
Thomas,
not...
you got a text message or this one just to give her a heads up.
Oof. By this, maybe, by the time the fire trucks come rolling in, they drive all over everything. I mean, imagine the backwash runoff from a... That might just wash right? By the time they realize all the runoff from the fire hoses might have just scrubbed that guy away.
It does make me sad he didn't get his present.
It does make me sad
That makes me sad.
he did
It's
not.
very
I know, because
cute.
you expect him to hand him kind of the beat up, crumpled, dented box, but no, he just has to tell him about it instead.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's such an
Thomas
author
makes
thing.
a very valid point when he says it's the thought that counts. And it truly was the thought and why he got it.
I wanted
Yeah,
to
it
play
wasn't-
Rock'em Robots with my brother, though.
Soccer robots, I know.
I have to just imagine he went and bought a second one.
Yeah.
Brought it to him later.
Well, the whole thing is kind of cute because, you know, like Thomas is just confusion of like, why would you have bought me? You know, because again, fucked up
Harry has to
family
turn
or
everything
not.
into his self.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, Thomas wasn't an only child.
Yeah.
There may have been hugely gross age gaps between,
Yes.
you know, but Thomas had a quote unquote more normal childhood that way, that he was in his familial home and he had siblings and nurses and nannies and whatever the fuck, right? And or Harry, yeah. So Thomas, as now a 30-year-old man, is like, why the fuck would you buy me Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Not thinking back to, the poignancy of a lost childhood or a stolen childhood or whatever of, but
Also, real quick, this turning off the lights and driving out of the parking lot has stuck with me my whole life.
because you can't do that in modern cars.
I have thought about it a million times when I've wanted to turn off the lights, and I was like, fucking Harry Dresden can fucking do it in his fucking car.
You can. You just have to take the emergency brake and click it up once.
Good
And
to know.
not enough to actually
I even-
engage the brake to stop the car, but it will turn the lights off. So
But
yes,
I have
you
even
can.
been pulled over for not having my lights on. And there were still lights. It just wasn't the main
Running lights,
but,
not
yeah,
your
right?
headlights.
Stupid.
Well, I remember the first time because one of the newest vehicles I had was when we got the minivan, and it was like a 5-year-old, but it had. And at first I was like, this is super cool and great. First problem I ran into that was we went to, it was like a scout thing or whatever, and it was like an astronomy night down at the Science Century place. And so when you got to the parking lot, they were like, please turn off your headlights and everything so you don't fuck up all the people here trying to look through telescopes at the night sky. And I couldn't,
Yeah, you have to
Turn
turn
my-
your engine off completely.
which, yeah, I didn't know the time.
Life goes on. Happy birthday, Thomas.
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Thomas. You say I got to see each other.
Sorry we killed half your employees.
Thanks for letting Molly drive herself and Sarah and on wheel.
To the hospital.
To the hospital. Yes, that's right. She took them to the hospital. Okay. Side note, I sort of kind of get this, but Chicago, yes, much bigger. I'm sure more dangerous city than anywhere I grew up and lived in. But I just thought the very start of this book, he's like 9 o'clock. And Molly's like, yeah, I'm taking the bus, boss. And I don't know quite how far she has to go between like her house between like Harry's house and her house and stuff like that. We sort of know where she lives. I don't really know what area Harry lives. Obviously not as, but again, given that Molly is a wizard in training and can do some already kind of, I'm like, I don't know, dude, just like turn invisible or so. How are they gonna mug you or whatever, you know, on the bus? Like, I just
That's
feel
true,
like
you can
it's
be
fun.
invisible.
It's
And you don't
just-
even have to pay for bus fare. You can just another person to be getting on.
Yeah, that's right. She can just fucking, sneak on the bus. Yes, right. She doesn't have to let anybody she know there's judge the whole trip. I was thinking if like that she got into trouble, she could become it, but you're right. But yeah, I just find it slightly
Probably
funny.
saves her 2 hours, though.
You know, maybe, but that's
But
not
that's just
that's not the
transit
point.
times in Calgary.
Yeah.
Pretty much if you're going anywhere, just
And it
2
could
hours,
be against some
2
of
hours.
these, but I just find it vaguely funny that he doesn't say like, oh, it's going to take her like 2 hours to get home on the bus at this night or this time of night or anything. It's just like it's after 9 o'clock. It's not safe for a young lady to be taking the bus, so I'm going to drive her. But then, he's like, I'll also give you the car. I mean, can you imagine after all of that and be like, so I didn't take you home. We went through a huge firefight. Now I got to stay and clean up here because, which again, she's like, the building was already on fire. I might as well torch it a little more.
And it was his fault.
And it was his fault, but he might as well keep. But yeah, he's like, now you have to take the bus home because now I have to fucking clean out here.
This concludes our episode 20.1, Drusilawannabe. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. And read my really weird notes. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.